I hate kunimitsu players. If there is anyone on the planet more deluded than a perked up little baby, it is for sure a kunimitsu player in any regular setting. As anyone with a brain already knows, kunimitsu was the beginning of the end for Tekken as a franchise, and I am not talking about old kunimitsu who we had up until Tekken 2. I am specifically talking about new kunimitsu, the one in Tekken 7 and now Tekken 8. This character, as I have said before, was Tekken 8 beta. Tekken 7 Kunimitsu was the prototype for every single new character that comes to this franchise. The characters we all complain, whine and bitch about because of how lame and generic they are. All of the generic characters and streamlined offensive gameplay that we have in the game now is because of Kunimitsu. The Antichrist came in the form of a short Japanese woman. None of us like what Tekken 8 has done to character designs, none of us like the gameplay. As much as the devs can quote unquote fix the game with more patches, this game is never going to be as good as literally any other Tekken game in existence. If we just ignore the first two, and this is all started because of Kunimitsu's design as a character in Tekken 7. Kunimitsu players, whilst their character wasn't in the game, bided their time carefully. Through a combination of hard substance abuse, spending their days watching 8-hour VTuber streams, typing W's in chat and leaving donos complimenting the attractiveness of a 3D furry model while a 6-foot 300-pound male blinks cutely into his webcam, whispering, "Thank you for the peaches senpai," whilst also checking in to claim that government unemployment check weekly. The Kunimitsu players have become so brain rotted that they actually think that people like their character and that she is good for the game. Now, Kunimitsu players of course aren't exactly known for their high degree of intelligence. With their life on the line, I'm sure these dudes couldn't sell slot to a pig, but I would expect a person with at least a 70 IQ to be self-aware enough to know that their character stinks and nobody likes them. But as I said before, 70 IQ on a Kunimitsu main might be hard to come by, considering they're probably comprised of those 300-pound autistic dudes who randomly have farmer strength that draw a lot, except in this case, they're also femboys. I am a Tekken creator with a 1% female fanbase, and I have now concluded after reading the comments of my last video that 1% is deadass just 30-year-old male Kunimitsu players putting their willy in a cage and wearing bras filled with tissues talking about how GovXIV is misogynistic for disliking Kunimitsu. If I was being misogynistic, I would say something along the lines of, "Woman, go make me a sandwich." Which I actually wouldn't say, because I know if you're a Kuni player, your mum is still cooking you dino nuggets and you've never put your swollen diabetic feet into a kitchen in your entire life. And nobody would even want you in there in the first place because you smell of gout and unbrushed teeth. I must have missed the Twitter YouTube comments collab, because when did disliking a single female character become misogynistic? This is some Twitter shit, bro. I'm telling you right now. I know there is a 0% chance this is actually a woman typing this comment, bro. So I'm gonna tell you this right now, bro. They're not gonna let you hit, bro. If you actually want to slide into some female Tekken players' DMs, go to Evo and talk to a chick about Tekken, bro. I don't know why you're on my channel moving like some suffragette because I said that Kuni is a monkey character, which she objectively is. You need to be in a psych ward, bro. And not because of just this comment, but because not only did this dude write their own comment, but they replied to someone else's like they were going to agree with them. And then they left like 20 other comments that they have now deleted. Brother, you are the single reason why birth rates are declining. Your ancestors are mad confused right now, looking down on their bloodline and seeing it end with a twink in fishnets, bro. I don't know what you got going on, bro, but please keep your opinions on my comment section. You're making it smell like cum, bro. There was once a time in my Tekken career when I was like 4 years old when Kunimitsu was actually one of my favorite characters, and that should say a lot about the grown men who still fuck with this character. However, that's not exactly the point. You know what? Do you want to know who else that I hate even more than Kunimitsu players? The dudes who don't subscribe to the channel, you little bitch ass boys. Subscribe to the channel, little bitch. Yeah. Put your finger on that subscribe button. Yeah, there's a good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Alright, let's get back to the video. I think that at one point in time, when Tekken was at its peak, they just didn't miss on characters, including Kunimitsu. And I understand that the character towards the end was not as popular, so I don't mind that they made her an anime character, but what I don't like is the ease of use with this character combined with the retarded strength of this character. Kunimitsu is one of these characters where you need an entire manual just to play base level defense against. She's similar to Ling in this regard, except I don't actually mind the complexity that comes with Ling, because Ling requires a level of creativity and brain power to pilot. Whereas with Kunimitsu, you have all of these moves that are evasive, that crush, that put you into stance, that put you into full crouch, that all create so many different scenarios for you to comprehend and respond to with little to no effort, which is why she was such a strong tournament pick in Tekken 7. Also, whereas Ling is generally making a read on what your response is going to be and doing some kind of fuckery to get low damage, at least in Tekken 7, Kunimitsu is just straight up 50-50ing you, bro. This character comes with the dumbest full crouch mix in a game where it's probably going to be buffed, but also to a game where full crouch mix opportunities are as free as they have ever been. So when I read comments like this, where they say, I don't want female characters to be competitive, no. I don't have an issue with female characters being competitive. I have an issue with them being broken. And considering this character was built for this game, Tekken 8, based on their design, it is a pretty safe assumption to make that they could quite possibly be broken. In fact, look at this comment to misogynistic guy who apparently commented on everything. What you're saying about Westerners and female fighting game characters is entirely made up. And Anna did cause irreparable harm to the game, not because she's a woman, but because even by Tekken 8 standards, her balancing / game design was stupid as fuck. And still is to some degree. Literally what I am saying. Amen. Amen, brother. Amen. Why do you keep saying we when it comes to who hates Kuni? You must be speaking French when you are saying we. Generational humor. Would you like a baguette with that? Definitely rage bait when you said nobody asked for this, when lots of people were asking for her since before launch. Look guys, I know that trying to reason with Kuni players is like slamming my head into our fire hydrant trying to get a refreshing drink of still water. But like, do we even live in the same reality, bro? Me personally, aside from the retards in my last comment section, I have never interacted with a guy who ever had any interest in playing Kunimitsu that wasn't a femboy. I understand that there is a large section of casual players who probably want to cheese a Tekken King out with Kunimitsu and then go play League of Legends until the next DLC drops. But when I'm thinking about these kind of things, I'm not really talking about casuals because they aren't the consistent fanbase who are going to keep playing the game. All of the people who play this game dislike Kunimitsu unless she's giving them a free rank or helping them win tournaments. It's just facts, bro. Another cope excuse I hear about Kunimitsu when it comes to criticizing the character is something as old as time. This is the old reliable, especially when criticizing Hwoarang as a character, but it's you just don't know the matchup. This is the most cope excuse for anyone who plays these combo type characters because firstly, a lot of you dudes who play the game are just asked to begin with. Fam, we don't even need to know the matchup to hang with you, bro. We just need to know your 2 flowcharts and then we keep it pushing. That's what you see as knowing the matchup, figuring out your flowchart. However, every single dude who plays the game somewhat seriously knows the Kunimitsu matchup to a decent degree because she was a strong character and you had to learn it in Tekken 7 if you wanted to be good. What I think knowing the matchup is simply knowing how to play into the character. Can I get away with clicking highs a lot into this character? Am I going to get crushed? Do they have a strong 13 frame low punish? Can they launch at 14 frames? What moves can I punish? What strings do I need to duck or step? Can I outpoke them? Stuff like that. Everyone knows how to play into Kunimitsu. You're supposed to pressure her before she can pressure you. That is the counterplay to this character. Don't let her breathe and be aware that all her lows are pretty punishable. Literally Tekken 8 philosophy pre-Tekken 8. The difficulty with this character doesn't come from learning the matchup. As much as this character has cheesy stuff, there's characters with far more complexity and cheese than this. Their issue is the sheer amount of options she seemingly always has, and the ease of which she can mix you up for absolutely no reason. And that was in Tekken 7, bro. God knows what she is going to look like in this game. Not knowing the matchup is such a cop-out for these dudes, and is such an automated response, bro. We all know the matchup for these bummy characters if you play the game enough. I am pretty sure that most of us know the Hwoarang matchup, and still get clapped up by Hwoarang, because it's not a lack of knowledge that makes us lose to Hwoarang. Why we still struggle with Hwoarang, despite knowing the matchup, is because of the pace that he plays at, and how one singular mistake easily turns into 80 damage for no reason. Hwoarang is a character that requires you to make split-second decisions, or you will endlessly be pressured until you die. Hwoarang is maybe the only character in the game where you can't wait to block something that's minus. You have to actively be playing with him. Whether it be stepping at the right time, checking with dig jab, launching raw stance switches, ducking highs, whatever, the difficulty doesn't come from not remembering to punish backleash or backlash, whatever that combo move is called. It comes from the fact that that move is plus 72 on whiff. The same thing can be said for Kunimitsu and her overwhelming stance option, combined with her busted Tekken 7 movement, which, to be fair, she probably won't have in Tekken 8, but you know, it's worth mentioning. The character's broken, bro. Another thing that was said, and this guy isn't like retarded or dumb or anything. He made a pretty fair point, which was like half wrong, but let me just read it. She was reworked in Tekken Tag 2, and many people liked her rework and new design. In Tekken 7, she was expected to return, actually highly requested, because people did not want her new design to go to waste. So no, there was not nobody wanted her in Tekken 7. And although I would have preferred her less broken and more like Tekken Tag 2, me and lots of other people are still her fans, and we have waited for her appearance in 8. Now, what needs to be said is that Kunimitsu alongside Falk and Lydia was designed as a Tekken 8 character with the Tekken 8 playstyle. That's why they all felt so overwhelming in Tekken 7. Look at Falk today. Perfectly playable, not too strong. Lydia is another story, but even she feels better to play against in 8 than 7. You lost me at that last sentence, bro. You lost me, bro. So why don't we just see how Kunimitsu will feel in a new environment where everybody already has the same idiotic okay, bro. Unless you shit talking and being a pessimistic arsehole is the way your channel generates traction, which does what, bro? This guy could not construct a sentence. But anyways, I don't know what the last line was about. You know, pessimistic arsehole. You can make a point without cooking someone. I do it all the time on this channel, clearly. But for those of you who don't know, Kunimitsu before Tekken Tag 2 was basically a Yoshimitsu clone, and she got reworked in Tekken Tag 2 to be more of her own character, which is good. However, this guy saying that she was anticipated is just cherry picking, bro. It's like the dudes who want Lei to be in Tekken. People always complain about Lei not being in the game because he's legacy and an iconic character. Yeah, nobody plays Lei, and everybody complains about playing against Lei. There probably was a subgroup of people who did want Kunimitsu in the game in Tekken 7, but the fact is, and this is stated by Harada himself, you can just go look this up, Kunimitsu was one of the least popular and least played characters in the franchise. So nobody wanted her, bro. You and your friends don't count for real. Characters that people actually want are things like Christy, who universally, every single time we are waiting for new DLC, is brought into the conversation. The same with Miguel. And unfortunately, for some wild reason, I always hear Lucky Chloe. Whenever Kunimitsu is brought up, dudes are like, get the fuck out of here. People talk about Kunimitsu in the same vein as Marduk, where there is a portion of the casual fanbase who is asking for this character, where the actual players don't want them anywhere near their game. And like I said, when I'm talking about these characters, I am always going to favor the opinions of the people who are actually going to be playing the game for an extended period of time. Nobody in the game's serious fanbase was asking for this character. Also, you say, so why don't we just see how Kuni will feel in a new environment where everybody has the same idiotic 50-50 casino playstyle? Why would you want to see that? If she was already a monkey character in Tekken 7, why would you want to see that in a game where every character's strength is amplified and it's the main complaint about the game? It's not even shit talking to say that Kunimitsu, strictly gameplay wise, is one of the worst designed characters in the franchise, one of the most least enjoyable characters to play against, and the experience never gets better with experience. And this is the last thing, right guys? Dudes really think that when I hop onto one of these videos, I'm just talking shit about a character that I don't like, and I don't actually know anything. This character isn't out yet, but when I'm making these videos, I'm doing so under the assumption that kunimitsu players can activate at least two of their neurons to understand that I am speculating using past evidence. If Kunimitsu was an arse character in 7, she would likely be arse in the shit Tekken game. If Kunimitsu was a broken bitch ass character in 7, she will likely be a broken bitch ass character in the shitter Tekken game. Why is that so hard for these inbreds to fathom? I think that's about it for the video today, boys. Kunimitsu players, you guys are something, bro. You guys need to be locked up. And not even in like a mental hospital, like Area 51, bro. You need to be locked up in Area 51. Or bro, listen. There's a cool place called Auschwitz, bro. Just lock them all up there, bro.